Hello and welcome to Nationwide on NTA. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The federal government has promised to consider the proposal by the organized labor on reversal of increments in petrol pump price. Austin Anyebe reports that this was achieved at the meeting between the organized labor and the government, where the parties agreed to consult other relevant stakeholders in the petroleum industry.
Message from the organized labor is clear, and they want a reversal of the pump price to what it was, so the government side will take it back. Even though we know government is not fixing prices of PMS anymore because it's deregulated, but it's part of the economy. So for now, yes, everybody is happy with the situation in the electricity industry, but there's a committee that is working, headed by the Minister of State, Labor and Employment. In fact, next week they will now use the opportunity and take field visits to the different discos in Nigeria, and then come back with a more comprehensive report.
Till the next 1 week for NNPC and the Minister of Petroleum to do proper consultation on the reversal of the fuel price back to what it was before.
The secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said everything possible will be done to improve the welfare of Nigerians.
Government delegation, I want to assure the organized labor of the preparedness of government to work hand in hand with you to ensure that resolutions are reached.
The Supreme Court has again ordered Shell Oil Company of Nigeria to pay compensation to the community in Ogoniland for the oil spill which destroyed the ecosystem. The Apex Court reaffirmed an earlier judgment which it had passed in January 2019. Femi Okeowo reports.
For 31 years now, some communities in Ogoniland of Rivers State have been in court seeking compensation over the oil spillage that has polluted their environment occasioned by the operations of Shell. At each level of the Nigerian judicial system, the communities have won their cases of 72 billion naira compensation. On the 11th of January 2019, the Supreme Court upheld the judgment of the lower court, only for Shell to again return to the Apex Court this year, asking for a reversal of that judgment. The Ogoni communities, in a preliminary objection through their counsel, prayed the Supreme Court to throw out the appeal as it constituted a desecration of the finality of the land's Apex Court. In a judgment presided over by Justice Bode Rothviver and written by Justice Chima Nweze, the Supreme Court upheld the preliminary objection and reaffirmed its earlier judgment of the 11th of January 2019, ordering Shell to pay compensation to the Ogoni communities.
The judgment sum as at today, with interest running, is in the neighborhood of 182 billion naira. The judgment itself now executory because a garnishee order absolute has been issued.
The communities will now embark on steps to take benefit of the Supreme Court judgment. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
3 presidential nominees for the position of Chairman, Vice Chairman and Commissioner for the National Electricity Regulatory Commission have been screened by the Senate's Committee on Power. National Assembly correspondent Vivian Idepefo reports that the committee grilled the nominees on the various issues bordering on inadequate and unsteady power supply in the country and challenged them to change the narrative when their positions are finally confirmed by the Senate.
Having thoroughly perused the credentials of the nominees, the lawmakers certified them to be qualified for the job. They are mindful of the task ahead as they highlighted some of the challenges of the sector to include fluctuation of megawatts generated, inadequate power distribution and metering system, high tariffs, as well as underutilization of renewable energy option.
The issue of making the sector liquid is very dramatic. And so just take note of these issues because we will be breathing down your neck when we come.
When you take over, when you are finally confirmed that of course we are going to have engagement with you, we should be able to hold on to something and remind you on behalf of Nigerians.
What assurance can we give Nigerians that you will do whatever is humanly possible in your regulatory status to ensure steady supply of electricity?
The nominees assured Nigerians that they would do things differently this time to salvage the sector if given the opportunity.
Improving quality of service, focus on customer care. The Commission is actually about to create a call center now where consumers can actually reach out and get their issues resolved. We want to focus on security of supply. We also want to focus on increasing access. So we want to see how we can diversify into renewables and other sources of energy so that when there are disruptions in one technology, Nigeria is not plunged into.
We have the gas supply agreement, gas transportation agreement, the power purchase agreements, vesting contracts, transmission use of system agreement. All these contracts are not activated. So going forward, we have to activate these contracts so that we can hold all these market participants, accountable to their action and inactions.
The Senate Committee and the presidential nominees were also on the same page on the need for adequate and regular power supply for youth empowerment, industrialization, and all-round development of the nation. From the National Assembly, Vivian Idekbefo, NTA News.
As the House of Representatives commenced the process of constitution review, the leadership says capacity building for lawmakers at council's level is necessary to make the exercise a success. Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, represented by Deputy Speaker Idris Wase, made this assertion at a capacity building workshop for lawmakers at the grassroots. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Among thematic areas of the constitutional review of the 9th House of Representatives is local government autonomy. This is in acknowledging the role of the local government level of providing true leadership to the people. The Deputy Speaker and Chairman Constitutional Review Committee restated the commitment of the legislature to ensuring that those at the grassroots access resources for development.
Part of the insecurity that we're having today is because the local government is not functioning very well. Yes. And even the development that we're supposed to have across the land is because the local government is not functioning. When they return home, relating with the village heads, with the student, with the youth leaders, with the vigilante in the local community, with the knowledge that they have, they are going to help in conflict resolution.
In another development, the House Committee on Youth has visited recently plundered NYSC facilities in the FCT to evaluate the level of damage.
The Federal Capital Territory Minister promised and said that they are working on it and they are going to make sure that the FCT camp is relocated to the permanent site.
The committee commended authorities for a quick response by putting the camp in shape for the youth orientation exercise. Lami Ali.
The recession occasioned by 2 consecutive negative growth in the nation's gross domestic product has continued to elicit reactions from economic experts. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the country have good prospects of recovering from the recession as the effect of COVID-19 recedes due to the impact of interventions by the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Alika Opanachi Arua has the details.
Comparing Nigeria economic recession of 2020 to that of 2016, guest on Good Morning Nigerian says the strategies of 2016 cannot apply to that of 2020 because the dynamics are different.
One thing that is special is that, unlike many economies, this health crisis transformed to economic crisis and then transformed to financial crisis. It didn't happen here. CBN made sure that it didn't convert to financial crisis.
By exempting companies with turnover under 25 million from company income tax and from being responsible for VAT collection. That's a comfort.
As part of the Growth Recovery Plan, the guests suggest more emphasis on technology-driven growth, especially in manufacturing, as well as increasing agricultural production and finalizing measures towards opening Nigerian borders for increased economic activities.
There is need to go back to our economic recovery and growth plan, and to also emphasize on investment in the special economic zones.
For me, for now, the major instrument is the Economic Sustainability Plan, which is an excellent, short-term plan. And it has all projects, programs, and policies and measures that can lift the economy out of recession.
In Abuja, Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
One of the most reliable and accurate means by which corruption can be tackled in Nigeria is by adopting the application of forensic science and technology. This is the recommendation of forensic experts Dr. Victoria Aishetu Gnapi in a book launch in Abuja. Mamso Damien Dati has details.
Of chapters, 226 pages touching on corruption, its origin, types, causes, and effects. Blocking the loopholes, however, is said to be more effective and cheaper than investigation. Hence, the adoption of forensics as a preventive measure dwells on the book, Practical Approach to Uprooting Corruption in Nigeria.
My own is different because we are talking about science and technology in uprooting corruption, and that is forensic. Everybody that I've been talking about uprooting corruption in Nigeria have never mentioned what I have mentioned in my book. I said forensic is the only way to uprooting corruption in Nigeria. If anybody don't believe it, let them try it. We know the ability and the capability of forensic investigation in Nigeria, because this group called forensic, we are a group of professionals that are out to train people on how to prevent, detect, and investigate fraud, and we don't even stop there. We also put in place some mechanism to stop future occurrence. So we are going to make it difficult for people to commit corruption.
The author, having highlighted the effects of corruption from the family, moral, social to public institutions, believes in a change of attitude and stressed the need to entrench an institutionalized framework targeted at preventing fraud, corruption, and cybercrimes at conception stages for the benefit of all. In Abuja, Mamso Damien Dati, NTA News.
The Forum of Non-National Working Committee, who are members of the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the All Progressives Congress, has agreed to work with the current caretaker and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the party, led by Governor Mai Malabuni. This unanimous decision was taken at a strategic meeting held in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The All Progressives Congress Governors Forum, state chairman of the party, as well as members of the Governor Mai Malabuni-led Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, were present at the review meeting with an agenda to assess the party's progress in terms of governance, ongoing reforms aimed at rebuilding, rebranding, and increasing membership drive, the forum says, are in line with the progressives' ideology.
So, we are here today for a common goal. People may misinterpret our goal. Our goal is the unity of our party. Our goal is our party passing beyond 2023.
It's proper for us to talk about how we are going to deliver dividend of democracy, how we are going to deliver on the mandate given to us by Nigerians, before we now begin to talk about 2023.
The meeting urged party faithful occupying various leadership positions to focus attention on governance in the interest of the citizens. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
It's time now to take our first break on Nationwide, and when we return, Adiola is standing by in Lagos. Stay tuned.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included a broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
The Apostolic Church Nigeria Abuja FCT Metropolitan Areas presents its program and special anthems for the 2nd Annual Convention. Theme: The Joy of Justification, Philippians 4 verse 4. Dates: Friday 27th November to Sunday 29th November. Time: 4 p.m. and 9 a.m. respectively. Venue: the Apostolic Church Nigeria Metropolitan Areas Headquarters, Plot 494 Durumi District, Garki, Abuja. Come and be blessed. Jesus is Lord.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multi-purpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710 Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. The Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. To DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome to Lagos. As the federal government continues to find lasting solutions to youth restiveness, Minister of Police Affairs and his interior counterpart have called for peace and unity while assuring Nigerians of government commitments to strengthening internal security. Nosa Usula reports.
The Minister of Police Affairs and his counterpart from the Ministry of the Interior, who were on an assessment tour in Lagos to ascertain the level of losses recorded during the aftermath of the EndSARS protests and to boost the morale of police officers, expressed dismay over the killing of security agents and burning of some police stations by hoodlums.
We are here to see for ourselves what has happened. We are aware that we have started a committee to take count of what we have lost and to report back to us. I want to assure all that government is going to look at these things to quickly see what we can do to put back these things into proper use.
The Minister of Interior reiterated the commitment of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to collaborate with state governments to ensure adequate security of lives and property.
Just wish we can get our people to do that, no matter the level of annoyance or anger, this is the way to vent it. Wherever it is, it's not the way to express your anger against any system.
The ministers assured men of the police force that the federal government will rebuild the facilities destroyed during the crisis. In Lagos, Nusa, Usula, NTA News.
And as part of efforts to ensure that African countries brace up to the challenges posed by the increase in emerging infectious diseases and biosecurity threats, especially against the backdrop of the raging COVID-19 pandemic, the Lagos State government, in partnership with stakeholders in the health sector, hosted the 6th Annual African Conference on One Health and Biosecurity in Lagos. Again, Nusa Usula has the details.
Medical experts from within and outside the country were at the Conference on Health and Biosecurity with a view to drawing lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu reiterated his commitment to building infrastructures that will adequately prepare the state for future health crises, noting that ensuring quality health and education services remain paramount for his government.
In 2021, we're actually going to dedicate budget to ensure that our learning capability are well documented. What are the things that we did well? What are the things that we did not do well? What are the learnings that we can? So that people that are coming from us could have some documentations and which they can also learn from.
The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, averred that Lagos State deployed an early centralized planning approach to the management of the current pandemic, stressing that the approach provides the state with the central control and command over a potentially disastrous biosecurity threat, coordination and efficiency in the management of state and donor resources during the pandemic.
We need to collaborate with international partners who have the capacity to develop vaccines and drugs, since we have a relatively weak research base and innovation pipeline structure.
Professor Abayomi added that responsive and responsible governments are expected to key into intellectual gatherings and conferences that will set agenda and discourse for solutions to myriads of health challenges confronting the human race. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
And those are stories from Lagos. Is now back to Ayodeji in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Adiola. Moving on now, broadcasting organizations in the country have been called upon to rise above board by projecting national issues from a positive point of view rather than allow foreign media organizations take the lead and plunge the country into crises. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the call at an interactive session with members of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria in Abuja. Anthony Forsen reports.
The meeting is coming on the heels of the NSAS protest and the position CNN took. The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said Nigerian media organs have a greater stake in the country and can do better, hence the need to brace up.
But the big lesson to draw from CNN's faux pas is that it magnifies the failure or inadequacy of our own broadcast organizations. In the wake of our spat with CNN, people are asking, why didn't our own broadcast stations take the lead in reporting the incident at Lekki? Why did they take the lead in presenting an authentic narrative? Why must we allow the foreign broadcast stations, some of which didn't even have correspondents on ground, to dictate the pace or the narrative?
The minister disclosed that CNN, for now, in his words, is grasping at straws in desperation to justify its inaccurate and unbalanced investigation.
But in the process, it is sinking more and more into professional infamy. Yesterday, November 26th, in the clearest indication yet of the its confusion over the Lekki toll gate incident. CNN tried to clarify its tweet October 23rd by saying it never attributed the death toll of 38 to Amnesty International, and that the tweet also did not make it clear that the death toll was for protests across the country.
Again, the minister said commentators on one hand have constantly redirected CNN to their tweet. For the bond members, having applauded the interaction with the minister, called for more of such interactions and expressed sadness over the fine placed on some organizations. Others equally pointed at a possible extension on waivers and tax reliefs by the NBC. It is expected that the bond members, in their review of the NSAS protest, will come up with a guide for their members to comply with. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
2020 has been a challenging year for the Nigeria police force, with the rising cases of insurgency, banditry, abduction, robbery, cultism and other criminal offenses. And to keep track with these national security situation and re-strategize for effective policing, top police officials are meeting to review the operations. Correspondent Francis Form has the report.
With the leadership we have been providing at the field level and other formations, we have made giant strides in our drive to guarantee a stable security order in the country.
This is the last strategic meeting of the Nigeria Police in 2020. The agenda is to evaluate the progress made and chart a way forward for a vibrant and civil-related policing.
We should know that the ever-increasing complexity of crime, as well as the evolving activities of subversive elements, will continue to test our professional competency. I'm confident in your ability to work with other security agencies in ensuring that the country remains safe.
Mr. President, is very much.
Minister of Police Affairs encouraged officers to initiate deliberate ways of surmounting security challenges facing the nation.
We thank you for your diligence. We thank you for your commitment. And I want to urge you to continue to do more. We want to urge you to continue to be more committed to the cause of the country and to continue to ensure that we maintain peace and security of the country.
The minister assures the force of government's commitment to equipping the police with modern technology to combat crime. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the air component of Operation Adarindaji has recorded more successes against armed bandits in the northwest of the country, with the obliteration of another camp and neutralization of scores of their fighters at Burning Kogo Forest in Katsina State. DMO Coordinator Major General John Enenche says the air raids were conducted on 23rd and 24th November 2020 on the heels of intelligence reports indicating that two camps with their clusters of huts were among the locations being used by the terrorists. The armed bandits and also their sophisticated weapons and planned attacks. Area surveillance mission also established pattern of live evidence at the presence of black attire wearing terrorists at the two locations. Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships destroyed portions of the camps, including their storage facilities, which were seen engulfed in flames. Later confirmed that no fewer than 37 bandits were neutralized at Dunya, while many more were killed at Burning Kogo, both in Katsina State. Nigerian youth are building synergy with security agencies to protect the nation's critical infrastructure against vandalism. Joshua Ojito reports that the renewed partnership is coming against the background of the recent NSAS protests.
Increasing cases of vandalization of power, oil and gas, among other critical infrastructure, gave rise to this summit, convened by a coalition of youth groups to mobilize support so as to stem the tide. Also joined in the advocacy are security agencies, with a submission on the need for robust intelligence sharing that will assist them in tracking the vandals.
This immediately brings to the fore the need for youth engagement in securing the Nigerian maritime space through capacity building for peace, inter-community dialogue, intelligence gathering, and local surveillance units.
Fight your cause and don't destroy the infrastructure. Give the appropriate NSCDC information about vandalism in your area.
Federal government says vandalization of critical infrastructure poses threat to the economy as it welcomed the initiative by the coalition of youth groups to support security agencies in protecting infrastructure. The advocacy is expected to be carried out in communities with awareness on the dangers of destroying national assets.
We must also focus on empowering the youth, and we should take youth empowerment as responsibility of everyone.
We should just shun crime and shun violence. So let's just partner with the government and every other agency in pushing our dreams and our goals forward.
The summit is an annual dialogue where youth engage stakeholders on issues that will promote good governance, with this year's focus on protecting critical infrastructure for sustainable economic growth. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Maintenance of all deplorable federal roads has commenced nationwide. The work is expected to be completed by mid-December to ensure safety of travelers during the Yuletide. Managing Director of Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FERMA, Nuruddin Rafindadi, gave the hint when Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello visited FERMA headquarters in Abuja to seek for intervention over the situation of federal roads in the state. Olusheye Adiagbo has more on the visit.
The harrowing experience of road users in Niger State, especially during the rainy season, was the basis of this meeting between Governor Abubakar Sani and the management of FEMA. The governor explained that many Nigerians traverse the state to other northern locations, hence motorable roads are non-negotiable.
During the last rainy season, we had a very tough time moving in Niger State, and with heavy downpour, it caused a lot of accidents. So we have decided that we shouldn't be caught unaware again. If we do, then it's our fault.
FEMA's Managing Director Nuruddin Rafindadi revealed federal government's plans to invest in road infrastructure, including rehabilitation of all federal roads.
So we expect to be in the field executing palliative interventions, and it's part of the overall program of the Ministry of Works and affiliate agencies to address the end of the year traffic across all states of the Federation.
The visit is a moral booster for the Niger State's delegation, as details of FEMA's intervention in Niger State's road network were unveiled. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Time now to join Kaduna, where Amina will guide us on interagency security meeting.
Many thanks, Ayodeji. Welcome to Kaduna. Security agencies in the Northwest and Central have resolved to sustain synergy in the fight against bandits, kidnappers, and insurgents. This was at the interagency workshop facilitated by the Headquarters 1 Division Nigerian Army in Kaduna. Ablai Mohammed reports.
Information sharing and partnerships while carrying out operations have always put security agencies under one tent. It is with this objective that these security personnel from different agencies came together. The chief host, General Officer Commanding Headquarters 1 Div Nigerian Army, Major General Usman Muhammad, led the pack of talking heads.
So essentially we are just to discuss and rub minds and come up with personal experiences of our agencies and see how we can identify and address those gaps wherever they exist.
The The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruan, was critical of the media regarding their reportage of security incidences, calling for prudent management of information.
When you give out credible information, balanced information, it will help out. But in a situation where there's a lot of exaggeration, there's a lot of misrepresentation, there's a lot of approaches that are far from reality, you will realize that the media content will undermine national security.
This meeting provides the security agents an ample platform to share ideas in order to come up with a formidable force in the fight against terrorism and insurgency. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
1 million Nigerians are being absolved from what many electricity consumers describe as arbitrary charges. This follows the funding by the federal government for the supply of electricity meters to families across the country. Haruna Mohammed visited a Kaduna community that benefited from the gesture and brings back this report.
Sigh of relief for Abdulaziz Muhammad and Bello Laden Arafat of Stephen Shakari Estate in Kaduna, a classical example of the kind of impact the federal government intends to have on its citizens through the mass electricity metering project. What remains for Bello and Abdulaziz now is a steady supply of electricity as they bid goodbye to estimated billings which has been a thorn under the feet of the electricity consumers.
Well, we feel delighted that they have started with us.
We are now avoiding that exorbitant amount of charges that we used to, the NEPA used to charge us before.
The distribution company in charge of Kaduna and environs has covered significant mileage in the journey to meter its customers as directed by the federal government under the Electricity Metering Support Initiative.
And also we create the necessary awareness about the program.
The federal government electricity metering initiative is going to electricity consumers without any form of charges. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to IODG in Abuja.
Thank you, Amina. A trajectory for the transformation of Nigerian tertiary education from citadel of learning to springboard into knowledge economy has come on board. This is sequel to the presentation of letters by TETFund to 12 universities, 2 in each geopolitical zones, to establish first ever centers of excellence to strengthen the nation's economy and development. Abdullahi Musa Sulija reports.
Centers of excellence are invariably defining research and innovation priorities of any country for local, regional and national needs. TETFund is therefore poised to assemble the best brains, profound experts, up-to-date research equipment in conducive working environment and condition of service to match global best practice. This new thinking by TETFund underscores the paradigm shift toward deepening its intervention more in core academic component alongside physical infrastructure development.
That there is but one truth to socio-economic and technological advancement. It is in R&D. And the 12 new COEs, 2 in each geopolitical zone of Nigeria, which we are to fund for 5 years, starting from today, with a grant of 1 billion naira each, will be at the heart of the mechanism for the attainment of our nation's aspirations.
President Muhammadu Buhari has at the beginning of this year approved the establishment of these centers to serve as pilots with the hope of reflecting the initiative in universities across the country. Abdullahi Musa Sulija, NTA News.
Critical stakeholders in the education sector in Nigeria are advocating adequate funding of research for teachers to deepen learning and promote teacher-student inclusion. This was part of recommendations made at a round table on sustainable teaching profession by Action Aid in Abuja. Elizabeth Omorui reports.
Learning becomes interesting and more interactive in the classroom when the teacher is fully equipped with requisite knowledge on the specialized subject. Educationists at this forum focused on repositioning the teaching profession by mapping out strategies to promote research in education towards effecting necessary changes in the classroom and beyond.
Greatest investment in any nation is investment in education, because education removes the issues of ignorance. We're also preaching, calling for quality education. Inclusive education is major.
With the inauguration of the committee to work out modalities for the revitalization of the teaching profession, critical stakeholders are advocating budgetary allocation for research.
It has been handed over to the tertiary institution. But now government see it as very important that the primary and secondary school teachers should also be involved in research. So we are trying as much as we can to see that government provide enough funds.
Teachers should be able to make some sacrifice and supplement what the government will give them, because issues of research are generally personal, and if you are able to make good research, you will be able to get more than enough money to even conduct other research.
Increasing the number of girl-child enrollment in schools and even distribution of learning materials at the grassroots were some of the issues brought to the fore at the round table. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Team Lagos has emerged winner of the 2020 President's Inter-Subeb National Debate Championship for primary schools. Olayinka Ojo reports that the debate championship was also used to celebrate Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary.
For 10 days, 10 teams from different states of the country slugged it out at this year's Inter-Subeb Primary School National Debate Championship. After rigorous intellectual exercises, Team Lagos and Team Ebonyi emerged as finalists.
Providing free education for the citizens, we portray good image of Nigeria. Opposition at denying the truth. Denying the truth does not change the facts.
With convincing use of constructive persuasion for and against the motion, abolishing free education in Nigeria, Team Lagos proved more assertive and believable enough to win the finals.
Faith is everything. I also want everybody to know that everyone is a winner.
And it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Confidence, boldness, and then good manners.
Being a competition for primary school pupils between the ages of 9 and 12, this riot act was read for states that came with participants above the age limits.
If a state presents pupils that are overaged, don't even allow them to debate.
But next year now, they will come their birth certificate. If your age is a month older, you will disqualify.
The President's Inter-Subeb School debate started 20 years ago, and based on their performance at the 2020 competition, Lagos, Ebonyi and Niger States will be representing Nigeria at next year's World Schools Debate Championship. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
2 decades of forensic advocacy at the inner bar, reflecting critical assessments of judgment of Supreme Court and Court of Appeal cases handed by Yusuf Ali, has been presented to the public in Abuja. The book, described as a valuable reference material and an inspiration to coming generations, attracted stakeholders in the legal profession. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chinwuba has more.
The book, 2 Decades of Forensic Advocacy at the Inner Bar, a first script in honor of Yusuf Ali, SAN, is a 2-volume compilation of critical reviews of some of the reported cases conducted by him and the judgment delivered in the cases. Volume 1 is essentially the critique and review of 41 judgments in 20 chapters on criminal prosecution, jurisdiction of courts to determine cases. Others are election matters and impeachment processes. The book reviewer and Vice Chancellor, Lagos State University, said he is impressed with the comprehensive index in the books.
The fact that when it comes to formulation of issues for the appellate court, quite a number of people, they find it very challenging. This is a book that will give you effective guidance.
Justice Helen Ogumwiju represented the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
And they showcase his arguments, his briefs in pursuing the clients of the cases of his clients.
Yusuf Ali, SAN, in whose honor the book was presented, reacts.
It will be
be a contribution to learning and knowledge in our country.
The book was put together by his friends in Inner and Outer Bar to celebrate his 20 years as a senior learned advocate. In Abuja, Viera Chomoba, NTA News.
It's time now to join Doris in Port Harcourt, which is the next stop on Nationwide.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The Opobo Unity Road is to be completed by the Governor Wike-led administration. The governor gave the firm assurance when he granted audience to the Amanayabo and Chief in Council of Opobo Kingdom at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
On the 25th of December 1870, King Jaja and chiefs left Bonny to found Opobo Kingdom, a feat that cost them blood and sweat to accomplish. By 25th of December this year, Opobo Kingdom will be turning 150 years. The Amayabo and the chiefs in council of Opobo were in Government House to formally invite the governor and his cabinet for the 150 years anniversary celebration of the kingdom. Most importantly, on the 28th of December, to watch the reenactment of the ceremonial landing of King Jaja and the chiefs on the shores of the new kingdom. The Amayabo appreciated the progress of work on the Andoni Opobo Unity Road and appealed for the construction of internal roads in Opobo to ease vehicular movements.
To reenact the ceremonial landing of King Jaja and his chiefs on the first shores of the new kingdom. It will be the grand finale, as well as to unveil the proposed rebuilding of King Jaja's palace and his mausoleum.
To reassure you, I will do everything possible, at least in my own time and your own time. Yeah, people can go home to say for the first time in the history of River State that people have road to go. It's a project that's key.
Governor Wike encouraged them on the need to uphold their history while directing the Chief of Staff to liaise with them on the possible assistance that is required of government. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekwere, NTA News.
4 cases of murder allegedly committed by operatives of the Nigerian police force and other acts of brutality were before the Judicial panel of inquiry sitting in Port Harcourt. Ijoma Ugweke has details.
2 out of the 4 murder cases of Daniel Kaguchi and Queen Wazuo brought before the panel were struck out for lack of evidence and documentation. Other petitioners, Hannah West and Ebiapo Bruti, testified the death of their siblings, Solomon Yelu and Emir Jewel, who died from alleged torture by operatives of Nigeria Police Force.
And told Lain, if she's the one looking for Solomon, that Solomon had been killed at Sasumbo. He said Solomon was brought in the previous day. The next day morning, he was taken out of his cell and he was killed. And that he's not sure, but she should try and check the UPTH mortuary.
I had an agreement with them to pay back the boat. But within a certain period of time, but he has not paid. That is why they asked them to arrest him.
Other cases, to include destruction of a family house, petitioned by Chibuike Chukwu, were adjourned for further cross-examination after defense counsel discovered the cases were not properly reported and did not follow due process. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News. That's our bit from here. Nationwide continues after the break with Deji in Abuja.
No, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see we're doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
For a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency. These days, People get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it. This is a public service announcement from NTA. The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
You're welcome back. More than 600 pregnant women and nursing mothers in Borno State have received free gifts of toiletries, disinfectants and wrappers courtesy of the program of the First Lady, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. Pregnant women and nursing mothers receiving medical attention in 4 hospitals in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, benefited from the First Lady's benevolence. Memuna Garba reports.
We really appreciate the gift. It is important for us because some of us can afford to buy it, some of us cannot afford to buy it.
Aisha Adamu Mijinyawa, a nursing mother, is one of the beneficiaries of the wife of the president's gesture at General Mamman Shua Memorial Hospital, Maiduguri. Other beneficiaries sang praises to the wife of the president for reaching out to them, saying it is an indication of her love and care to the women folk in the country. The benevolence by Aisha Buhari is complementing efforts of the Borno State government in the provision of free maternal care, which also encourages women to visit hospitals for their well-being and that of their children as part of measures to reduce maternal and infant mortality.
It's another special day because she has decided to reach out to pregnant women, women that have just given birth, and even other patients in our hospitals. And so we are very, very grateful to her.
Apart from toiletries and wrapper gifts to women, the Aisha Buhari Foundation presented cartons of face masks to Borno State government to further curb the spread of COVID-19.
What we have received in terms of donation, which are face masks, is going to go a long way in closing some of the gaps we have.
Commissioner for Health, Dr. Salisu Kwayabra, assured of judicious use of the protective item in Maiduguri. Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And now sports. Nigeria's D-Tigers set for their second game of the FIBA Afro Basket qualifier in Rwanda. Details with Badde